In population, the size of its economy, Lagos State compared to several African countries. So when you talk about who will be the next governor of Lagos State, is a big deal, isn't it? Out of the many states of the Federation, Lagos State has over 5 million registered, well, over 6 million registered voters, with about 5 million of those having their permanent voter cards. They are potential voters any day, any time, at least within these phase of the 2019 general election. So talking about who will succeed Akinwumi Ambode, the sitting governor, who is not returning to office because there is another person who got the ticket of the party. So it's been an intense conversation around the personalities, those who have shown up for the contest. At a debate in Lagos, some of them won the hearts of would-be voters who are looking forward to decide on who will be their governor in Lagos. So tonight, we'll be engaging one of those, and is a candidate, a former member of the PDP and a candidate of the ADP, Mr. Gbadamosi. He joins us in the studio. Thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Thank you very much, Sean, for inviting me to your show. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much. It does look like a Herculean task, trying to be a governor of Lagos. You've tried once, you did not get a ticket in the PDP. Now you are the candidate of the ADP. Your name is on the ballot. But it's looking rather more difficult than you expected, isn't it?
Oh, I always expected it to be difficult. I've never fooled myself into thinking that this is going to be a piece of cake or a walk in the park. I knew that it was going to be a tough job. I knew that it was not going to be easy to pry Lagos from the fingers of those who are feeding fat, from the parasitic fingers of those who are feeding fat on our taxes. So, yes, I knew what to expect, and I expect that it's going to be really tough. Although a new dimension has been added to it now, with the deployment of bullion vans and thugs into the mix openly. It used to be done, somewhat more clandestinely.
Have you seen that on the street of Lagos?
Of course you saw what happened at the last elections, didn't you, Shehu? Don't pretend that you didn't see the thugs chasing people off the voting lines and some people burning actual votes. That happened here in Lagos. We saw a few examples of a very widespread pattern of violence and deliberate disruption of elections in areas where the APC was clearly going to lose.
As it stands right now, does that scare you? And does it give you a scare considering your chances and the fact that your party, ADP, is probably a new party to Lagosians who are up to now looking forward to perhaps a party that has a bit more of a grassroots presence?
Well, I'll tell you what. I won't lie to you and say that I do not see the violence that's been deployed by the APC as a challenge. I will not lie to you and say that I do not see the bullion vans being deployed as a challenge. Yes, they're very challenging, but you know what? Problems are there to be fixed. Yeah. Well, we had Ashwaju speak and say that Igbos should vote for the APC or else, and then or else happened, at the elections and immediately after the elections. And that went on for quite a while. In fact, I think there's a lot of chatter going on in social media, and a lot of Igbo people were prevented from doing their business, which is very un-Lagosian-like. Do you understand? Lagos is home to all. Lagos is Lagos because we're very hospitable people. And this is how you know that these are not Lagosians. All right? The people doing this, perpetrating this, are not Lagosians. The people encouraging it, sponsoring it, they're not Lagosians. Okay? Real Lagosians know that the prosperity of Lagos relies on people's ability to do business. And if you start attacking people's ability to do business, you're clearly not a Lagosian.
Is Lagos really a no man's, anybody's land?
No, Lagos belongs to some people. Lagos belongs to people like me, where indigents of Lagos, everywhere has indigents, all right? But the culture of a place can determine how prosperous the place can become. And our culture in Lagos is to be hospitable. We open our doors to all and sundry. That does not mean we've given up ownership of our space.
Well, for example,
this is the one space on earth that belongs to indigenous Lagosians.
Should he become governor, Mr. Gbadamosi? Yes. Would he, for example, appoint an Igbo man?
If he qualifies, yes. If he qualifies, yes. I'm looking for the best hands. All right? We need the best hands. Lagos is a cosmopolitan city, much like New York, much like London, much like most other commercial capitals of the world. And if we're going to run a world-class city, then we need world-class hands. So if it just so happens that the best hands we can find, say for instance for transportation, is an Igbo person or an Edo person or an Ebira person, then that's the person I'm going to appoint. I want only the best, period.
The tribe and ethnicity doesn't matter for you.
Well, look,
really.
We're in the 21st century, sir.
Okay, let's go to some other important issue, because yes, I do not think those kind of issues should matter anyway.
It doesn't matter.
It should be the quality of character and the quality of what we have in the head.
The character, and the quality of the, you know.
So if you look at what you are bringing to the table,
yes,
you've talked about the review of public sector system in Lagos.
Public sector wages, yes.
What are you going to do? Are you going to increase wages, or what are you planning?
We are going to review wages to bring them in line with our economic realities. We can't have people who can't feed. You saw what happened the other day when Sanwo-Olu visited, well, apparently summoned all the civil servants in Lagos State to a meeting at the Adeyemi Bero Hall at Alausa just down the road. You saw what happened when they started sharing rice. There was a frenzy. It was like a refugee camp. You know, that sort of thing ought to be eliminated. And the only way to do that is to bring people's wages, is to price people's time appropriately. And we're not doing that. We haven't done that
precisely
for over 20
what
years.
Would you do?
We would price people's time appropriately.
How?
We would pay people wages that are commensurate with the responsibilities that we're giving to them. And that's not happening right now. And that's the reason why everything is moving at snail's pace.
In terms of policy articulation,
yes,
what exactly would you do? Are you going to say you work 8 hours, you're paid per the hour that you work?
Well, let me put it to you like this. There's already a system for calculating wages in Lagos. All right? Now, what we're going to change is the parameters of that system. So we're not going to change the system, we're just going to change the figures. All right? We're going to look at it and say, how much is a bag of rice in the market? How much is rent, average? How much is the cost of transport? What do people pay for school fees? What is the average energy cost of the average Lagosian? These are the things that we're going to be looking at to work out what a living wage should be for a Lagosian.
Would you pay above the 30,000 that is suggested?
Clearly, we're going to have to pay above that. Very clearly.
Like how much do you think you can pay?
We're guessing, just off the cuff, we're guessing that we're probably going to have to pay somewhere in the region of around 100,000 per month.
Can Lagos afford that?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. We can clearly afford that. If we cut all the waste, if we cut all the money that we're paying to Alpha, Beta, and similar agencies, yes, we can.
Is Lagos State paying money to Alpha, Beta?
As far as I know, yes. As far as I know. Apparently, commissions for collecting taxes for Lagosians, which taxes are being collected by civil servants and receipts issued by civil servants.
Do you think you can win this election?
I hope so. I hope for the sake of Lagosians, for the sake of our children and our grandchildren, that I win this election. I hope so. Because clearly the APC don't know what they're doing. They've been at it for the last 20 years. And it's all just chaos everywhere. Every sector of Lagos is full of chaos. And they dress it up with a lot of very beautiful sounding rhetoric and very glossy images. But it's still a mess. A mess is a mess, by whatever name you call it.
And you think you're a better alternative?
I am the best alternative out there right now.
For Lagos?
For Lagos.
Compared to the likes of Jimmy Agbaje and Sanwo-Olu?
Oh, please.
Why did you say oh, please?
Oh, please, because they don't have my experience.
Really?
Yes, they don't have the knowledge that I have. They don't have the experience that I have.
Jimmy Agbaje has contested to be governor of Lagos.
I'm not talking about experience of contesting elections. I'm talking about experience of delivering the things that Lagosians need. Okay? Lagosians need electricity. I've provided electricity to over 300 homes 24/7 for the last 8 years. Has Jimmy Agbaje provided electricity to any number of homes for the last 8 years? Has he? I've provided water to 300 homes for the last 8 years, unbroken. Has Sanwo-Olu provided water to 300 homes? And this is somebody that's actually in charge of the LSDPC, all right? The LSDPC that was set up by my uncle when he was 28.
Would you do differently? What would you do differently?
I would do everything differently. Everything will be different. Everything. Okay. I consider things like electricity, water, good roads, I consider these things to be basic requirements of decent society. And Lagos is far from decent right now. That is the truth. Okay,
we'll take a break. But when we come back, I will be asking Mr. Gbadamosi to give us his final thought on how he hopes to chart a better way, as he has promised, to the people of Lagos. It's just a few days before the election. Don't go anywhere, everyone. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, everyone. Some of our closing moments with Mr. Babatunde Gbadamosi, the ADP governorship candidate in Lagos. He's been talking about liberating the people of Lagos, and he did say that he's the best candidate. And so, if you look at the progression from 1999, from Bola Ahmed Tinubu to Fashola, and now to Ambode, a lot of people will say continuity. Would you subscribe to such?
Well, I'm not sure what people think, but what I know is that it's been one government. There hasn't been any transition. The Fashola you mentioned and Ambode you mentioned, they've been mere placeholders. They've not really been in charge of government. They've just been people put there to serve the interests of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Now, if Sanwo-Olu, the man that's campaigning on the platform of APC now, if he gets into office, that will be the 4th term for Bola Ahmed Tinubu in Lagos State. And that's something that we really need to end. Nobody should have that much. No one individual should have that much power. All right? And you can see how absolute power has corrupted Bola Ahmed Tinubu to the point where 2 billion vans are seen driving into his home.
Those are allegations.
Pictures, look, he confirmed, he corroborated those allegations on television. He did. He corroborated, he said, yes, those bullion vans belong to him, and that's his money, and it doesn't concern anybody. Now, I've heard of situations where the EFCC have basically just clamped down on people's money just because they've seen huge amounts of money moving into there. This is not even cash. This is money present in people's account balance. Okay? And they've gone and challenged them and arrested them and started harassing them and told them to keep reporting every other month at the EFCC and just made their lives a living hell. Now, have they done the same? Have they inquired? Because I can't see any visible business that Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing to be able to have 2 billion vans drive into his house in full glare of the public, and then him coming out and saying, yes, it's my money. Where did he get the money from? That's the question. How much taxes is he actually paying Lagosians to be, to have the capacity to have bullion vans drive into his personal house? Those are still on the basis
of allegations, and the big question is
these are not allegations.
Are you aggrieved with Tinubu, or are you aggrieved with what is happening in the APC and in Lagos?
I'm not aggrieved with whatever it is that is happening in the APC. Whatever is happening in the APC is APC's problem. What I'm aggrieved with is the idea that all of a sudden Lagos state government does not know how to build roads anymore. This is the same Lagos state government that built Lekki-Ekpe Expressway in 3 years, between 1980 and 1983, during the Jakonde period. All of a sudden, Lagos state government does not know how to build affordable homes anymore. Jakonde built 20,000 affordable homes 37 years ago, in 4 years, okay? All of a sudden, we don't know how to do the basics anymore in government. And this is the result of 20 years of Tinubuism.
We need to go now because I have another guest in Abuja studio. Just in 30 seconds, if you close now. If you were elected today, in the first 3 months of assuming office, what would be your priority?
My main priorities will be the people. That is the civil servants that sweat, toil day in, day out for the people of Lagos. First of all, I'm going to increase their salaries. I'm going to review their salaries upwards in order to make the jobs worthwhile for them. That's number one. Number two, we're going to sort out the traffic situation in Lagos. It's a whole mess. Public transport is not what it should be. It's not anywhere near where it should be in Lagos State. And finally, we're going to be looking at the issue of power. We're going to sort out the electricity problem for once and for all. Whatever Nigerian government wants to do, they can do. But in Lagos, we're going to fix the power problem.
Mr. Babatunde Gbadamosi, it's a pleasure talking to you.
It's been a pleasure,
Governorship candidate. Thank you, and I wish you the very best.
Thank you very much.